Hello everybody and welcome back to Earthborn Studio. Today we're going to be trying to make some botanical prints. I saw a video on this a while ago and I decided I just had to try it. To start off with, we're going to use some clay. The clay I ended up getting wasn't quite soft enough, and that caused a lot of problems, as you will see later on. I also tried to use some softer, more complex flowers, and that didn't really turn out very well for the first time, especially with the more difficult clay. Rolling out the flowers is definitely one of the more fun parts of this project. There's just something about seeing it sink into the clay that feels very exciting, like you just can't wait to see what's going to come out. You have to go very slowly when removing the flowers, as you're trying to get every piece to come out cleanly, so you have less cleaning up to do later on. And this is why you want things to come out as cleanly as possible. It is very irritating to have to pick all these little pieces out of the clay. It takes forever. Very quickly drive you mad. Here we are placing the forms for the botanical casts. I ended up using these old red cups I had lying around, cut in half. Originally I was going to use something like a springform pan, but the thrift store was all out of pans like that, and I didn't want to go and buy a brand new pan just to pour plaster in. You can also see in these clips just how hard the clay was. Next time I will definitely use softer clay and see if that gives me a better result. I mixed up the plaster using a ratio I found online from somebody else who was doing botanical casts. Next time though, I might try to do a little bit more research and try a different ratio. This one ended up a little bit too runny for my taste, and it took much longer to dry. I waited the recommended time for the casts to dry before trying to take them out, but I definitely should have waited longer. If you see here, the ratio of plaster I had was way too wet and it caused quite a bit of cracking. In fact, this one just cracked immediately in half when I tried to get it out. I was very sad. I waited longer for them to dry, and that evening I tried again. This time they came out cleanly. It was very nerve-wracking though. I ended up with 2 good casts from that first trial. I did another trial and ended up with 2 more good casts, so I had 4 in total to work with. The next thing to do was sanding, and there was so much sanding to do in this project. I would recommend using a mask if you try this project yourself, so you're not breathing in any of the particulates. It's pretty easy to sand, and it's pretty easy to get carried away. I very much like the feeling of the sanded plaster on my fingers. There's just something soft about it. It reminded me of playing with chalk when I was little. I would also recommend keeping a trash can and a wet rag nearby somewhere so this doesn't get all over your house. It's pretty easy to accidentally blow it all over your kitchen. After the sanding, I very gently brushed off each one with a wet, soft toothbrush. This just helped get rid of any of the dust left over for the painting process, where I wanted to seal it and paint it. And it also helped me get rid of any of the really, really slight imperfections I may have missed when I sanded it. I knew I wanted to seal everything with paint just for that extra layer of security, and I decided to go with this black base coat first. I'm coating the entire thing in black, front, back, and sides, and then I'm going to go over it in a dry brush with a different color. The paint I was using was watered down acrylic paint. This made it easier to spread onto the plaster, but it also posed a problem. Because the paint was watered down, the plaster just soaked it right up, and I had to use quite a bit more than I wanted. For the dry brushing color, my original thought was red, but at the last second I changed it to this gold. I tried to get as much paint as possible off of the brush before lightly brushing it over the tallest areas of the cast. When this happens, it leaves gold on just the high points, which creates this wonderful 3D effect. I had learned my lesson with the black paint and therefore did not water this paint down at all. The fact that it was dry brush also helped it not soak too deeply into the plaster. and these are the results. I'm very happy with how these turned out. Are they perfect? No, but this was the first try, and there's a lot of things I think I'll do differently the next time I try this. And I promise there will be a part 2. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!